Lavello tonight out in center field. Eduardo Escobar at third base. David Peralta in left field. Paul Goldschmidt down at first. Daniel Descalso in the lineup at second base. Steven Souza Jr. out in right field. Nick Ahmed at short. Alex Avila doing the catching, and right-hander Zach Godley on the mound for the D-backs.
Well, the numbers, Bob, are on the Diamondbacks side here. D-backs 7-5 versus the Rockies this year. 4-2 here at Coors Field, and still 7 games to play against these guys, only 2.5 back.
Well, just like we were talking about in the open, however, that's all what's happened in the past. All you can do is control today and moving forward, and hopefully the Diamondbacks get off to a great start here in this 4-game series in Colorado.
4-gamer starts tonight, followed by 3 at Chase Field coming up next weekend. Rockies take the field, and your Ram truck starting pitcher for Colorado is the 23-year-old right-hander, German Marquez, 5th in the National League in strikeouts. He is pitching really well right now. He's only lost once in his last 12 starts.
And we talked about the Zach Godley curveball here at Coors Field. You're going to see a boatload of curveballs from German Marquez as well in this ball game tonight. Should be a lot of swings and misses if both guys are on top of their game.
E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond at the Colorado defense.
Charlie Blackmon's been hot lately. He's out in center field, flanked by Gerardo Parra in left. David Dahl in right field. Nolan Arenado at third base. Trevor Story at short. DJ LeMahieu at second base. Ian Desmond over at first, with Tony Walters doing the catching for right-hander German Marquez.
C.B. Bucknor is behind the plate tonight, calling the balls and strikes. The crew chief, Fieldon Culbreth, is our first base umpire. Phil Cuzzies at second, and Chris Conroy is at third. Well, the latest the Rockies have ever been alone atop their division since 1995 is right now. They were 8 games back in the NL West on June 28th, and since then they have gone 40-22. That's a pretty impressive stretch. And following this 4-game set with the Diamondbacks, the Rockies hit the road. It's a National League West tour. They go to San Francisco, Dodger Stadium, and then Chase Field. So there's a lot to be decided here over the course of these final 19 games. AJ leads it off, 260 and 16 home runs. And we are set to go on a lovely night in lower downtown Denver, Colorado. The first of 4 critical games, the D-backs and the Rockies.
You mentioned the Dodgers. They trail the Cincinnati Reds 7-4 in the 6th inning tonight in Cincinnati.
That'll help. Starts him off with a hard fastball in, and we're underway 0-1.
Now, if you believe in numbers,
yeah,
this should be a really good series for the Diamondbacks. They've been the best first inning team in all of baseball. They're hitting .291 as a team, getting on base at a .377 clip. They've hit 31 homers.
This is a drive, pretty deep right field. It backs up David Dahl, and it's off the wall. He misplays it. It rolls back to center, and AJ heads for third. Blackmon overthrows, almost overthrows everybody, and AJ's got a leadoff triple.
Before I could even finish how good the Diamondbacks are in the first inning, they get it off to a rousing start. Opposite field triple off the wall out there. Dahl got a little too close to the fence. We've talked about that area out there in right field. There's chain link, there's padded areas, there's hard areas where the ball takes a big carom. That time AJ took advantage of it and ends up at third base with a leadoff triple.
He is now 9 for 14 against German Marquez. Eduardo Escobar, 267 and 20 home runs. D-back set to strike first. This is along the line and slicing out of play, you were saying.
D-backs have scored 117 first inning runs. The Rockies pitching staff has allowed 123 first inning runs, most in the majors.
43rd Diamondback triple. That's the most of the major leagues. Rockies have given up 43 triples also. Most of the major leagues. 2 teams that play in big ballparks. That's chopped foul, and Marquez is ahead 0-2. Marquez averages 95 miles an hour with that big fastball. He will occasionally try and sink it. His breaking balls have come a long way. He's always had a good curveball. The slider has been much improved lately. There's a fastball at 98, poked foul.
That's a changeup, but he rarely uses it. You probably wouldn't see it until maybe the third time through the opposing batting order. He might break it out against hitters that have seen everything else he has to offer.
That's to center. A base hit for Escobar, and the D-backs strike first in Colorado. 2 batters in, 1-0 Diamondbacks.
Nice clean single into center field, came on a breaking ball. Those 2 strike counts, and with runners in scoring position, Marquez more often than not is going to go to either that curveball or the hard slider.
Marquez has been around the strike zone a lot so far. Diamondbacks taking advantage. Here's David Peralta. Another strike at 97. David at 297 and 26 home runs.
And against right-handed pitching this season, David has the 3rd highest batting average in the major leagues. Mookie Betts leads the way with a 335 mark, Jose Altuve at 330, and then David Peralta at 329 against right-handed pitching. And it gets even better against Rockies right-handed pitchers.
It usually does.
Yeah, 14 for 28. That's an even 500, and 60% of the balls he hit were 95 miles an hour or faster off the bat. A lot of numbers. Basically what we're saying is David wears out right-handed pitching, especially guys wearing purple tops.
And you can see the 1 through 5 hitters in this D-back order tonight have a combined 548 career batting average against German Marquez. He's being careful with Peralta. Fastballs away. It's 2-1. David had a big RBI single as a pinch hitter yesterday against Atlanta. He's hit safely now in 4 straight games. A lot of room on that right-hand side. Desmond holding Escobar on the bag at first. He hits it to second, though. LeMahieu underhand toss to Story, and they turn the double play. Brings up the birthday boy. Goldie is 31 years old today. Hitting .298, 33 home runs, and still leading the National League with that .962 OPS.
Just crazy career numbers against Marquez for Goldie. A .450 lifetime batting average, 2 doubles, 4 homers.
This is low with a fastball. He's homered against Marquez a couple of times this year. He's hit 5 home runs here at Coors Field already this season. 5 homers in 6 games here this year.
That second highlight, you could see Goldie as he was coming out of the batter's box talking to it. Stay fair.
This is line to center. Blackman will have to play it on a hop, and Goldie's got another base hit. He's now reached base safely in a D-backs record, 46 consecutive road games. Brings up Daniel Descalso. A lot of hard contact here against Marquez.
Well, you mentioned Marquez has been on a pretty nice roll lately for the Rockies, and if you're going to get to good pitchers, usually it's early in the ball game before they have a chance to settle in and get the right split between their pitches, find that release point to get the ball in the strike zone, attack them early.
Saw the numbers on Descalso, a former Rocky. Fastball off the plate, but CB Bucknor says strike 1. You mentioned Marquez. It is really starting to come together for him. He's only 23. Got to keep that in mind. But he's given up a total of just 7 runs in his last 5 starts, and that's come against some quality teams like the Astros, the Braves, the Cardinals. He's pitched very well lately. He's coming off 3 straight no decisions, but in those 3 games, he only gave up 4 runs, and he's been piling up the strikeouts for Bud Black. This is out to left for Gerardo Parra. And he runs it down. Diamondback strike first. Zach Godley from Colorado coming up. Starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks is the right-hander Zach Godley, the new dad. Zach and his wife Autumn just celebrated the birth of their new baby girl Audrey Grace. And tonight he looks to become a 15-game winner.
Yeah, came off a really odd start last time out against the Padres. Went 5 innings in that game. Only gave up 2 hits and walked 2 batters, but all of them scored. The 2 hits were both homers, and the 2 walks preceded one of the home runs.
Rockies lineup brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealer.
Charlie Blackmon, the center fielder, leading it off. DJ LeMahieu at second base. Nolan Arenado down at third. David Dahl will be out in right field. Trevor Story at shortstop. Gerardo Parra in left. Ian Desmond at first base, with Tony Walters doing the catching for right-hander Herman Marquez.
Charlie Blackmon in the leadoff spot. The shift is on, and there's ball 1. Blackmon 282. 26 home runs. He's homered 3 times in his last 2 games, including a leadoff home run here yesterday against the Dodgers. Here's a look at the Diamondback defense. Fastball away, it's 2-0. Statcast AI powered by AWS. Escobar sneaking in as Blackmon shows bunt a couple of times here. Blackmon's leadoff homer is second leadoff home run this year. It was his second multi-home run game of the year. The other came at Chase Field back in the opening series of the season. This is headed towards center. AJ will play it on a hop. It's a big outfield out there, and Blackmon has a leadoff single. E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the Diamondback defense.
A.J. Pollock patrolling center field. David Peralta will be in left. Steven Souza Jr. in right. A lot of territory to cover out there for those 3. Eduardo Escobar at third base. Nick Ahmed and Daniel Descalso make up the double play combo. Paul Goldschmidt at first base. Alex Avila doing the catching, and right-hander Zach Godley on the mound.
Here is the red-hot DJ LeMahieu. He is hitting everything right now. Blackmon doesn't run like he used to, but he's still got 12 stolen bases on the year. And a lot of these Rockies hitters, Bob, showing bunt against Zach Godley. They know about Zach's occasional issues throwing to the bases, so we might see an aggressive Colorado team trying to force him into some mistakes.
Well, if indeed that's the case, it would be the first time we've seen it this year. I mean, we see Zach every start, so we know the kind of issues he has throwing to the bases, but none of the opponents seem to want to take a chance.
Oh, Blackmon broke for second, stopped, and Godley threw it to the backstop. Blackmon took off like he was going to steal, stopped after about 2-3 steps, froze, and Godley almost hit the on-deck batter.
I think that's called a balk. Yeah, I mean, Zach Yeah, he started, was looking back towards second base, decided to go ahead and unload the ball to home plate. That is just a disaster there.
You could see him look back to second as he was delivering the ball to the plate. And so the Rockies are going to do what they can to shake up the Diamondback starting pitcher here.
I think you're absolutely right. That's not the last adventure on the base paths we're going to see for the Rockies tonight against Zach Godley.
And they got some guys that can run too. Desmond, Story, Blackman. So now it's Blackman at second after the single and the balk, and an 0-1 count on LeMahieu. Blackman's really dancing around back there. Fastball is in. Time bomb for your Valley Honda dealer. Key to the game.
Well, like I say about my golf game, no pictures, just numbers. I mean, the Diamondbacks played some ugly baseball lately. They've made some errors. They left some runners on base. Haven't pitched particularly well at times. You gotta let all that go. It doesn't matter how you win. They don't have a column in the standings for ugly wins. Just win.
Fastball fouled back, 1-2.
I mean, good teams do that. They overcome their mistakes. They overcome errors. Somebody will pick up a teammate. If you boot a ball, I'll turn a double play on the next one. If you walk a leadoff hitter, I'll come in out of the bullpen and strike out the side for you. It's what good teams do.
All fastballs so far from Zach Godley, the four-seamer and the cutter. This is the way Marquez started out as well. Well, a tapper in front of the plate. Godley's on it and he can't pick it up. Avila let him have it, and Zach just couldn't get a handle. That scored a base hit.
Just a little swinging bunt pounded into that soft dirt in front of home plate. Gets out there and dies. Godley, in his haste to get to the ball quickly and try to get the out at first base, just can't handle the baseball.
He's in immediate trouble. They're on the corners, nobody out, and here comes Nolan Arenado, who homered here yesterday, and the Rockies lost to the Dodgers. Mike Butcher going to pay Godley a visit here. 3 batters into the ball game.
This might be as much about stolen base defense as anything else. LeMahieu's stolen 6 bases this year in 10 attempts, but he's always been a very good base runner. And if they feel like they have something on Zach Godley, wouldn't surprise me to see DJ LeMahieu on the move down there at first base.
And Blackman's got 12 steals. Trevor Story has 25. Parr has swiped 9 bags. Ian Desmond has 18 stolen bases. This is a team that can and does run. Well, here we go. Godley and Arenado, who has really slumped lately. The home run he hit yesterday, considered by everybody here to be an encouraging sign. 297, 32 home runs. That OPS of 932 is 4th best in the league. Starts him off with a breaking ball, 0-1. Arenado, prior to his homer yesterday, was stuck in a 5 for 41 slump. He has really been fighting it lately. He's got a bum right shoulder that's causing him some problem.
Yeah, he insists it doesn't affect his swing, only his throws from third base. But when you see those offensive numbers spiraling the way they have been, you have to wonder.
Gets him off his feet with a fastball well inside. LeMahieu is hung up. He broke for second. They're going to have to be careful with Blackman at third. He's staying put, and LeMahieu runs into an out. They got a little too aggressive that time. LeMahieu is insisting to first base umpire Fielden Culbreth that he missed the tag and he's safe.
I think he's also insisting that he didn't go out of the baseline. He was within reach of the bag there.
Watch LeMahieu here just take off on Avila.
Yeah, he was trying to take advantage of a little toss back to the mound. And that time Avila, out of the corner of his eye, saw LeMahieu out in no man's land. Diamondbacks, not a textbook rundown, but they ultimately get the out. I think they get the out.
Here's Cubby and Bud Black. Tony Diaz coaching at first. Now, remember, there is technically no baseline between first and third. Once the defender with the ball sticks his arm out like Bud Black just did, that establishes the baseline. And it did appear that LeMahieu kind of swerved away from Goldie's glove just a bit. Maybe enough for Field and Culbreth to call him out. So that goes down as a caught stealing. 2-4-3-6-3. A 1-1 count on Arenado.
I think it was it here or at Chase Field when David Peralta took advantage of Tony Walters, I believe it was.
No, it was at Chase Field against Mike McHenry.
There, the Pirates.
Yeah, that was about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, just
good memory.
McHenry was just going to toss the ball back to the mound, a little lob throw to the pitcher, and David Peralta timed it perfectly and came down that third base line, stole home.
Well, these Rockies already have all kinds of tricks hidden up their sleeve. Godley ahead of Arenado, 1-2. He's homered 4 times against the D-backs this year. Always a threat to take you deep. Good block by Alex. That curveball got away. 2-2. Avila's going to earn his paycheck tonight.
Yes, he is. You know, when Zach Godley's on the mound, he's going to throw that curveball a bunch, and a lot of them are going to end up in the dirt. Well, if you haven't seen a Rockies game against the D-backs yet this year, keep an eye on Nolan Arenado in that batter's box. I describe it as being hungry to hit. Can't stop moving his feet, just grinding his teeth, just waiting for that pitcher to throw the next one.
Well, here it comes on 2-2. Did he check? No, he did not. He is gone. Arenado strikes out. That's a big out, number 2 for Godley with Blackman at third.
Curveball might have never been in the strike zone. Started near the outside corner, breaks over in that left-handed batter's box, and Arenado can't check.
Well, here's the very talented youngster David Dahl, who's been just wrecked by injuries the last few years, but he has got a lot of potential. 264, 9 homers. Finally healthy again after several years of serious injury problems. That breaking ball almost got to the backstop. Dahl has homered twice in just 5 games this month. Diamondbacks have the shift on. So you've got 3 infielders on the right-hand side against him. Escobar near the bag at third with Blackman down there. Tried another curveball, and it's 2-0. David Dahl missed all of last season with a rib problem, was injured again this year, had a broken right foot, missed all of June and July. It's been one thing after another for this guy. The Rockies 6 years ago made him the 10th pick in the draft on a high school in Alabama. Ouch. Remember when David Dahl first came up to the big leagues? It was 2 years ago, July, and he hit safely in his first 17 career games. That tied a major league record, and he was a sensation. But ever since then, it's been one injury after another. So they go with Dahl in there instead of Carlos Gonzalez in right field, which was interesting. One misses low. It's 3 balls and a strike. There's that cutter. Trevor Story on deck. Guy who just hit a 505-foot home run here last week.
One of 3 that he hit in the ball game.
Takes a big hack at a curveball. Godley got that down and in on the lefty, and now it's full 3-2. Blackman about a third of the way down the line. Escobar is well off the bag, and so Godley just stepped off. Now Eduardo has to come a little bit closer. Blackman making a lot of noise down there, trying to shake up Godley. Here's the 3-2 to Dahl. That's a bullet by Zach. Shift is on. Ahmed is there. And somehow they survive a wild home half of the first. It's 1-0 Diamondbacks.
A number of decisions coming this time of year for Torey Lovello. We'll talk about the back end of the bullpen a little bit later as the game progresses. But Daniel Descalzo seen a lot of time. Ketel Marte came off the bench during the last couple of games with the Atlanta Braves guys, and there is something to that. Torey saying he had a conversation with Ketel and that Daniel would get more time here down the stretch. He likes the veterans at bats, and he said with Ketel, the left-hand swing has not been as productive as they had hoped. But again, guys, with crunch time, these decisions have to be made, and so you will see more of Daniel Descalzo out there at second base.
I think especially, Jody, against some of these right-hand pitchers. And let Ketel have some ABs against lefties. Souza leads off the second at 235 and 4 homers. You saw Torey talking with Alex Avila. What the heck was going on out there? That was a wild bottom of the first.
Well, I think it's a foreshadowing of what we're going to see from the Rockies tonight. I mean, historically, the Rockies have been a team that hits lots of home runs in this ballpark. But as you mentioned, they've got a bunch of guys in the lineup that can steal bases. They can go first to third, score from first on an extra base hit. And if they sense that Zach Godley's having issues throwing the bases, they're going to try to take advantage of it.
This is bounced to second for LeMahieu from the outfield grass. They retire Souza to start the second.
All it takes is one good play, one comebacker to Zach Godley, or one pickoff throw to first base that he executes perfectly, picks somebody off base, and suddenly that will go on the advance report and people will stop trying to take advantage.
But it's got to happen first.
Yeah.
Ahmed has really been a hitter lately. 248, 16 homers. And another big game yesterday, that clutch 2-run single. He also walked twice in that game against the Braves. Couldn't quite check on that breaking ball. Nick, 7 hits over what is now a 5-game hitting streak. And during that stretch, he's got 2 doubles, a triple, and 6 RBIs. There's that good Marquez slider. That's the pitch that has come so far for him. He can now spin 2 different breaking balls. He used to be pretty much a 2-pitch guy, but that slider has made a big difference for him here. Walters sets up, down and away. Fastball misses at 97, and Nick lays off 1-2. Wouldn't lay off that breaking ball, and Marquez gets his first strikeout. He's been piling up the strikeouts. 3 starts ago, Marquez struck out 9 Cardinals. Then he struck out 13 Padres. In his last start, which was Tuesday, he struck out 11 Giants. So that's a Rockies record. Most strikeouts in a 3-start span, 33. And here's Alex Avila.
You mentioned that improved slider. It doesn't have to be a great one. When you throw 97 and you've got another secondary pitch in the curveball that you have a lot of confidence in, the slider doesn't have to be great. If you can just keep it out there on the outside part of the plate to a right-handed hitter, it should be very effective.
That's something that Torey Lovullo always talks about with Diamondback pitchers, getting them to change the shape on their breaking balls. Just give guys a different look. Shift is on against Avila. LeMahieu well back on the outfield grass at second. Alex catches enough foul tips when he's back there. He doesn't need to foul them off himself.
He's going to be ready for a spa day at the end of this season. Between the foul tips he's taken as a catcher and the foul balls off that front leg as a hitter, he's pretty banged up right now.
Yeah, I'm sure it's September 10th by the time this day rolls around and you're a catcher.
Oh.
Everything hurts.
I feel like a used car, the worst used car on the lot. And you wake up in the morning and, oh man, what is that? Oh, what's that knot? Where'd that oh yeah, that's right. That foul ball last night got me on the inside of the shin guard. And, oh man, what's that on my neck? I can't move my neck. Every morning you have to take inventory before you crawl out of bed.
2-1. Fastball fouled away.
And unfortunately, it's a habit that he will probably use for the rest of his life.
We all get there eventually.
Oh, brother.
Well, there's that slider. Marquez gets back-to-back strikeouts to end the second. We're in Denver, Colorado, where the Diamondbacks have a 1-0 lead. Colorado Diamondbacks lead the Rockies. Fans, check out the D-backs 2019 schedule. It's online right now. And you can get the benefits of being a D-back season ticket holder and guarantee your seats for the Red Sox and Yankees games with the purchase of a 2019 D-back season ticket plan. Our home opener next year is against the Red Sox. Learn more and view next year's schedule at dbacks.com/advantage. Trevor Story leads off the Colorado second against Zach Godley. Story always dangerous, 293 and 31 home runs. Story just had a tough series against LA over the weekend. He was 1 for 12 with 6 strikeouts. Rockies dropped 2 of 3 against the Dodgers here.
Keeping an eye on that Dodger-Reds game. The Reds now lead the Dodgers 10-5 in the 7th inning.
Tell you what, the Reds these days have caused problems for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
They can score on you. They got an offense down there.
Eugenio Suarez with his 32nd homer of the season. They beat up on Alex Wood pretty good tonight.
That'll help. Oh boy, he chased a high curveball and Godley gets his second strikeout.
Breaking ball in the dirt there to Alex. Nationwide vision eye on the game. There's the two-seamer inside for a called strike. A cutter away. And then a curveball that hung up there above the top of the strike zone. It was so bad it was good. Our Nationwide vision center's eye on the game.
Former Diamondback Gerardo Parra, the left fielder tonight, 276, 5 homers. He is really scuffling right now. Fastball misses up. Parra's offensive game has nosedived down the stretch. He's stuck in a 2 for 22 skid right now. Sends this to center. AJ is there, just shy of the warning track. 2 down.
It's pretty tough to hit a ball over AJ's head in this ballpark. Every outfielder plays deep here at Coors because the ball jumps and carries so far. Everybody plays deep, and then those little dunking singles drop in front. But AJ got a good jump on that one, got back to the warning track, made the catch.
Ian Desmond. Improved offensive numbers this year, at least in some categories. Still just a .230 hitter, but he's got 20 homers. Desmond sits safely in 3 straight games and 7 of 8 this month, mostly singles though. Power numbers have bounced back a bit after a very disappointing first year with Colorado last season. Good hard cutter. 1-2 on Ian Desmond.
Big swing from Desmond that time. Saw the cutter up in the zone. Took a rip at it. With 2 strikes lately, he's been going to the opposite field with regularity.
Well, he missed away with that hard sinker. The catcher Tony Walters is on deck. Called strike 3. Got him on the sinker. A 10-pitch inning for Godley, who's retired 5 in a row. Baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Dodgers took 2 of 3 here at Coors Field over the weekend to pull within a half game of Colorado. But as Bob mentioned, they're having all kinds of issues with Joey Votto and the Reds. Cincinnati has a 10-6 lead at Great American Ballpark. They're in the 7th.
Yeah, I mentioned Alex Wood got banged around in that game. 3 2/3, 7 runs on 8 hits and a couple of walks.
Ah, that's a shame.
Darn it.
Zach Godley leads it off against Germán Marquez in the top of the 3rd. There's a little tapper that stays fair. Marquez picks it up and runs over there. 5 in a row. He's retired, 1 down. D-backs had a 1-0 lead, 2 batters into the ball game. Pollock tripled off the wall in right field, and then Escobar singled to center. And that's been all the scoring so far. Here's AJ now, second time through the order for Marquez.
Good to see AJ finally get some results. He's hit some balls hard recently. We've talked about it repeatedly over the last couple of weeks. Long fly balls that seem to just die on the warning track. There's to drive that ball over the head of David Dahl back in the 1st inning.
Well, as Torrey was saying yesterday, all the chips are out on the table right now. They're pushing them in, and this team can get hot. In a week, we could be having a totally different conversation regarding where the Diamondbacks are in the division. And one of the guys that can change the narrative right now is certainly A.J. Pollock. You get A.J. going over these final 19 games, it's a whole different ballgame. National League Player of the Month in April and Player of the Week the first week of May before he got hurt in the middle of that month. Down 0-2. Shortstop for Trevor Story. Two down for Eduardo Escobar. And Escobar's another guy that they really need to pick it up here. He started all 4 games in the Atlanta series and went 1 for 18. Went hitless yesterday against the Braves.
Yeah, the reality is Torrey needs everybody to step up a little bit. You know, it'd be nice if 1 or 2 guys could get hot and carry the team, but the reality is you need everybody just to do a little bit more.
Well, Marquez is making it tough. He's been extremely efficient. Escobar dunks that one into left field. That's his first multi-hit game since August 18th.
Stayed right on that pitch, down and out over the plate, lines it into left field for Gerardo Parra. 2-out knock, setting it up for David Peralta here.
He's 2 for 2. David hit into a double play his first time up.
You know, we were talking about the Diamondbacks and how they score in the 1st inning. Well, if you take it even a little farther, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd inning, the Diamondbacks are 1st in the National League with 261 runs scored. However, in the 4th, 5th, and 6th, they're dead last in the National League.
And it's tapped foul in front of Dave McKay at first. This is Peralta homering off Marquez. This was back in June.
And David hit the ball hard his first time up into a double play, but it was another hard hit ball, 109 miles an hour off the bat.
Marquez still throwing strikes, 8 pitches in this inning. All for strikes, make it 9 for 9, and he's ahead 0-2. Marquez 15 pitches in the 1st, 11 strikes. 13 pitches in the 2nd, 8 strikes. He's been right there. Fastball sails on him.
You see the velocities for Marquez out there on the mound consistently in the mid to upper 90s with that fastball. And I know the Diamondbacks had early batting practice today. Looked like they had the velocity machine set up out there on the mound. We're actually halfway between the mound and home plate.
Yeah, the machine has traveled at times this year. A low fastball. Peralta strikes out. Bottom third. It's 1-0 Diamondbacks. We're back in the fight for postseason. We need you at Chase Field next week as the D-backs take on the Cubs. A big 3-game series starts a week from tonight, Monday, September 17th. Big series, don't miss it. Get your tickets right now, dbacks.com. Rockies catcher Tony Walters leads off the third. Zach Godley coming off a 10-pitch second inning. Walters at 172 and 3 homers. He's got the pitcher Marquez on deck behind him. Lost the handle on that curveball. Godley behind 2-0. Zach has retired the last 5 Rockies he's faced. Well, this is a guy who's hitting a .172. Got the pitcher behind him. You put him on base, you give Marquez the opportunity to bunt him over. Oh, that's a strike. Just caught the upper corner.
Yeah, you'd like to think this could be a breather inning for Zach Godley, facing the bottom of the Rockies order. Get 2 quick outs and then go to battle against Charlie Blackmon. Good pitch. A little two-seamer right there at the edge.
Skied up to shallow center. AJ's got it.
Time to take a look at our Geico this day in Major League Baseball history. We go all the way back to 1963 in the Mets' 4-2 win over the Giants. Carlton Willie retires the side in order. Big deal, right? Yeah, well, they were brothers. Jesus Matty and Felipe Alou all were retired in the same inning. The only time it's ever happened in Major League Baseball history.
I think it's funny just to have those guys batting 3 in a row like that. It's kind of a neat one.
Of course, a couple spots farther down in the lineup was the other Alou brother.
Boogaloo. Bob Brenly, ladies and gentlemen. How long have you been sitting on that one?
Oh, a long time.
You can see German Marquez can hit. You got to be careful with this guy. He's got a home run this year. He's got 5 runs batted in. 15 hits and 51 at bats. Escobar backs up at third. A little clumsy that time, but he makes the play.
hitter-runner is, sometimes it's not always pretty. As we said, no pictures, just numbers. Just get the out. You had the pitcher running down the first baseline. Escobar had a little more time than he would for Charlie Blackmon or Nolan Arenado or one of the other Rockies hitters, so made sure to get a good grip and get the out.
Blackmon singled to lead off the ball game, was stranded at third in the bottom of the first. Escobar in on the grass at third. The curveball's a strike 0-1.
Well, that's the pitch I think you have to really be careful with Charlie Blackmon right now. That cutter down and in. He's a dead low ball hitter, and that cutter is right in his wheelhouse if it stays around that inside corner of the plate. That leadoff home run he hit yesterday was on a fastball at the knees, inside corner.
Yeah, Blackmon has homered 3 times in his last 2 games. 3 hits yesterday against Los Angeles. Homered twice. .40 pitches for Godley, 23 strikes. Oh, that was the hard sinker that sneaks back over the plate. Gets the inside part of the zone. Just comes back a little bit away from the lefty. And Godley is even 2-2. Falling off the mound on that sinker. Same pitch, just to the other side of the plate. Godley working in and away, up and down. But he's run it full on. Blackmon 3-2. LeMahieu on deck. Boy, that ball and bat both got Alex Avila. Just give me the ball.
You couldn't try to get hit by more foul tips than Alex Avila does.
Did you get him on the backswing? Right on the head.
On the helmet.
Oh, man.
He's taken a beating back there recently.
Well, Godley's going to circle the mound. They're going to let Blackmon go back to the on-deck circle and put some chalk on there just to give Avila a moment here. Jeez. Come on, man.
They tend to run in cycles. You know, you might not get hit for weeks at a time, and then you'll get hit 5 or 6 times in the same ball game. That one got a piece of CB Buckner back there as well.
Full count, 3-2. Shift is on against Blackmon. Ahmed, the shortstop, on the first base side of second. There's that cutter trying to sneak it in through the back door. That is a bullet over the glove of Goldie and headed for the right field corner. Souza's got it. Blackmon's got a double. He's 2 for 2. That ball was smoked.
We were told Charlie Blackmon's really been swinging it well coming into this series. He's a guy you definitely have to keep an eye on. There's a lot of guys in this Rockies lineup you have to keep a close eye on, but right now Charlie Blackmon is the guy.
That was an 8-pitch at bat by Blackmon, and he wins the battle. He's in scoring position for LeMahieu, who hit a little infield single his first time up, a ball back to the mound that Godley couldn't quite pick up. And LeMahieu has been red hot as well. He's got 2 hits in each of his last 4 games. Blackman on the bases again around Godley. He was a big distraction back in the first. Jumping around, dancing, breaking for the base ahead of him, and then stopping. Created a lot of chaos on the bases. Trying to shake up Godley. Punches that one foul in front of Tony Diaz at first. LeMahieu here yesterday in the loss to Los Angeles, doubled and tripled in that ball game. And he's another guy that gets a big boost in all his offensive numbers playing here at Coors. Godley starting to spray it around a little bit. Zach, as we know, will uncork one every now and again. He leads the major leagues in wild pitches. And he leads the National League in hit batters. 20th pitch of this inning coming up.
Yeah, what was supposed to be a breather inning facing the 8, 9, and 1 hitters has suddenly turned into a slog for Zach Godley out there on the mound.
Just starting the second time through the Colorado order. Don't forget, you've got Arenado lurking on deck. Blackman jumping around back there. No, he didn't check, says Field and Culbreth. 2-2. Rockies 1 for 3 so far tonight with runners in scoring position. Bud Black is bench coach Mike Redmond on the left. Two to LeMahieu. High chopper. Escobar is under it. Got to hurry. And they got him. Eduardo Escobar. That was awfully close. The ball hung up there forever. But Field and Culbreth says out at first. LeMahieu's not going anywhere.
Yeah, trampolines off of home plate high in the air to the left side. Escobar gets to it in good shape. Just a little hesitation there on the throw across the diamond. LeMahieu insists he's safe, refused to leave the bag.
Rockies are having a look. There's Mike Redmond talking to their video people. And he's signaling challenge. They will challenge the out call at first. So Field and Culbreth, the crew chief who made the call, puts on the headsets. Here's a look. I think this one is going to go against the D-backs.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think you're right. Very close, but it looked like LeMahieu got that foot down on the bag just before the ball hit the back of Goldie's glove.
Well, this is a big result here because if they overturn the call, it's 1st and 3rd for Arenado, and the inning will continue.
And you've got runners on the corners, both of whom are very good base runners, and we saw what they did in the first inning, trying to disrupt Zach Godley out there on the mound. I would imagine, especially if you get to 2 strikes on Arenado, you'll probably see the Rockies try to pull some kind of chicanery on the bases.
Well, here's one more look.
Boy, is that close.
Yeah. Across Major League Baseball overall, the percentage of replay challenges that are called call stands way up in the second half of the year. So the umpires that work the replay review command center in New York a lot more conservative here as the season wears on with some of these big games. It takes a lot to get a call overturned. And of course, the designation call stands means there was not enough video evidence to get the call overturned as opposed to call confirmed.
Montague kind of came down with the middle of his instep on the front edge of the base right there. We talk about that all the time. Try to hit the front edge of the base with your toe. That's as quickly as you can possibly get to that base. And as we've seen on this play and many other plays just like it this summer, sometimes that makes the difference.
I would suggest that a long review here favors the Diamondbacks because they're still looking for an angle they like to get the call overturned. And based on how long this is taking, you can maybe guess they haven't seen one yet.
If it was clear and convincing, you would think they would see it right away, and that would be it.
He is out at first. And Godley is out of the third. It stays 1-0 D-backs. Diamondbacks. Don't forget Sunday, the final episode this year of the Local 9 as Todd Walsh talks to Randy Johnson. Bob Brenly. And Goldie lines it to Dahl in right. And he's got it. John Jay, John Ryan Murphy, all on the broadcast. Todd will find out their favorite things to do, places to go outside the ballpark. D-backs Local 9, presented by CenturyLink, starring Bob Brenly. Sunday after the D-backs and Astros game on Fox Sports.
Oh no, we're just all supporting cast members for Todd.
You don't know how true that is. Here's Descalso. I'm going to guess that pizza was involved in your discussion.
Yes, indeed.
Todd is verklempt. He doesn't know what to do with himself now. He's running out of Game of Thrones episodes to binge watch.
Oh, that's right.
He's all caught up. Be careful with Descalso. 2-0.
Well, now that he's up to speed, he can go to the conventions and stuff and dress up, put on costumes, and
along with
our dragons and stuff.
Our producer, Brad the Big Dog Weimer. The Comic-Con crowd, 2-1. German Marquez was down 1-0, 2 batters into the ball game. A Pollock triple at Escobar single, and that has been all the scoring so far. He's retired 8 of the last 9 he's faced. That one's foul. Marquez has not only been pitching very well, he's been pitching deep into games. Only 1 loss in his last 12 starts. He's pitched into the 7th inning 7 times in those 12 starts. Full count, 3-2. Got him. Good hard fastball at 96. That's his 4th strikeout.
Nothing tricky there, just a four-seamer up in the zone, inner third of the plate. Just blew it right by Daniel that time. He's got a big fastball. We talk a lot about his curve and his improved slider, but it all works off that 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
Got a lot of life to it, says Bud Black, and Marquez has done a good job keeping it down, mixing in his breaking pitches. Here's Souza. There's a good fastball down for a strike, 0-1. It's funny, the Rockies' rotation, which was their biggest question mark, and always has been, it seems, is really the thing that's worked out best for them down the stretch. All these young starters, yes, he went, have really done a good job here. And since June 28th, the Rockies are 40-22, and mostly it's been the starting pitching that has carried the ball. Here's a breaking ball for the strikeout. He's punched out 5, but trails it 1-0. With the Rockies continues. Coverage starts at 5 o'clock tomorrow and Wednesday. D-backs live pregame show right here on Fox Sports Arizona and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Nolan Arenado set to lead off the bottom of the fourth. Here's Jody.
Yeah, Nolan struck out his first time up, but despite a homer and 2 dazzling defensive plays yesterday, Nolan Arenado was talking today about all the time he's spending in the training room with that shoulder injury. He said it doesn't hurt him when he's hitting, but he's not throwing the ball as hard as usual. He said it feels like dead arm. And rest is the only thing that will help, but he said he intends to play through it. It probably won't feel good, he said, until next season.
Yeah, Jody, and his offensive numbers are really slumping in September. Godley gets from the pop up to open up the fourth. Here's David Dahl.
Boy, and a guy that plays the hot corner with a bad throwing shoulder, and we know Nolan throws off balance, fading away, falling out of bounds. It has to be in his head at this point as well.
Dahl grounded out his first time up. Godley coming off a 21-pitch third. So that quick out against Arenado certainly helped. Shift is on against David Dahl, and he belts that one to right center. Souza has it in the gap. He bobbles the ball, and Dahl is in at second. Steven Souza was over there, just flat out dropped it, and Dahl took advantage.
Well, those are the kind of mistakes the Diamondbacks just did not make in the first 2/3 of this season. Just clanks it off the heel of the glove right there. A routine ball out to the gap in right center. Got to the spot quickly, just took his eye off the ball and allows Dahl to move into scoring position with 1 out.
That's a single for David Dahl. E9, the error on the right fielder Souza allows him to get to second for Trevor Story, who struck out his first time up. Both Arenado and Dahl aggressive. Hacking early in the count, as does Story. And he can't keep it fair.
Well, obviously, we've kept a close eye on the National League West race and other races, the wild card. But there's some good individual races working this summer in the National League. Total bases, Trevor Story right now has 301 total bases. Javier Baez has 300. Goldie has 298.
There's a big front page article on MLB.com today talking about Goldie for National League MVP. Of course, you want total bases. A good way to do that is to hit 3 home runs in one game. And Story did that here just last week, including a 505-foot home run, the longest in this ballpark's history.
Jeez.
And the longest in StatCast history, 505. Almost hit it into Todd Helton's burger stand out there.
The burger stand, yeah.
And that was one of 3 that Story hit in that ball game. 21 home runs here at Coors Field, only 10 on the road. Always a dangerous hitter in this ballpark. Hard cutter away. Story's slugging percentage gets a 200-point boost in his home park. That's the case with a lot of these guys. Called strike 3. Able to sneak that 2-seam fastball back over the plate away from Story.
Yeah, I think it was set up by the first 2 pitches. A curveball that just kind of hung right there. He pulled that one foul, then a cutter off the plate away. Comes right back with that 2-seamer, the tail back to the corner. Story can't pull the trigger. Our Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game.
Well, he struck out Story twice. Parra flied out to center his first time up. David Dahl, the runner at second and 2 outs. Godley hanging on to a 1-0 lead here in the 4th. 1-0 Diamondbacks, each team with 4 hits. Deep to center. AJ backing up. 4:15 out there. They needed every foot. It stays 1-0 Diamondbacks. In Denver, D-backs lead the Rockies 1-0. What's next? Brought to you by CenturyLink. Game 2 of the 4-game set here at Coors Field. Zach Greinke on the mound for the Diamondbacks against the Rockies' Antonio Senzatella. D-backs live pregame show at 5 o'clock on Fox Sports Arizona. Nick Ahmed leads off the fifth against German Marquez, who has retired 10 of the last 11 batters he's faced. He's got 5 strikeouts. He's not walked a batter. 50 pitches, 37 strikes. Nick struck out his first time. Down 0-2. Boy, everything we read about that slider has been true. It's looked good here tonight. Tony Walters behind the plate. Fights off a fastball at 97. This guy can really bring it. Only 23. German Marquez out of Venezuela, originally signed by Tampa Bay back in 2011. Colorado picked him up in the deal that sent Corey Dickerson from the Rockies to the Rays.
You look at a guy like Marquez pitching half his games here at Coors Field and still able to spin the ball the way he does. You have to believe when the time comes, German Marquez may be shopping his wares elsewhere.
Well, he's got a ways to go, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
right.
if you can pitch that effectively, especially with 2 different breaking balls at Coors Field.
Imagine how good it might be somewhere else.
Woo.
There's Bud Black. Bud Black has been very clear. He wants tough pitchers. He wants guys that are not afraid of this ballpark and this environment. He's shaken off Walters a couple of times here. You can't have guys who will walk batters. You can't have extra base runners in this ballpark for obvious reasons. That's how you get yourself into trouble. And you can't be afraid to pitch in this ballpark. Ahmed strikes out for the second time tonight, and Marquez has punched out 3 in a row.
Yeah, you start nibbling in this ballpark to avoid the long ball. You put guys on base via the base on balls, and then you end up giving a long ball anyway. So you might as well just attack everybody.
And that's helped him, that attitude, it seems, Bob, be very efficient here. 13 pitch second, an 11 pitch third, a 10 pitch fourth. Here's Avila, who struck out his first time.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Marquez doesn't have anything to surprise Alex Avila with. In his first at bat, he saw slider, changeup, curveball, fastball, slider. That's pretty much everything Marquez throws.
He starts him off with a heater for a strike. Marquez facing the Diamondbacks for the 5th time this year. And he's not had a whole lot of luck. Just 1-1 against the D-backs with a ERA about 5.5. He did, however, pitch well against the Diamondbacks here at Coors Field. That was July 11th. 2 runs in 6 innings. He struck out 8 and got the win. This is his 7th 0-2 count in the ball game tonight. Alex able to lay off that curveball. 1-2. Pitcher Godley on deck. Shaping up to be another Diamondback middle inning offensive drought. We've seen far too much of that of late. The Diamondbacks have 4 hits in the game so far tonight, 3 of them coming in the first inning. That's where they got their run. Pollock a leadoff triple. Escobar singled him home. Just missed in with a fastball at 95, and it's full 3-2. Marquez 60 pitches, 43 strikes. He's not walked a batter tonight. He's struck out 6. 97 right by him, and he has struck out 4 consecutive Diamondbacks.
We talked at length the last couple of weeks about what Torrey says. Some pitches are meant to be hit, some are not meant to be hit. And that time Alex Avila chased a couple of balls that weren't meant to be hit. Breaking ball in the dirt early in the sequence. Fastball up above the zone there to finish it.
Marquez has struck out 4 in a row in 5 of the last 6 batters. And he jumps ahead of Godley 0-1. Here's that hard breaking ball. 0-2. Trying to strike out the side in the 5th. Swing and a miss. He has struck out 5 consecutive batters and 8 for the ball game, but it's 1-0 D-backs. The D-backs lead the Rockies 1-0. Bring the whole family out to a Diamondback game with the D-backs Value Pack coming up next weekend. When the D-backs face these Rockies, you can get a game ticket, a hot dog, and a Pepsi, all for only $25. For tickets, visit dbacks.com/value. Zach Godley back out there to start the bottom of the 5th.
You know, we talk a lot about Zach Godley's curveball, and the guys in the truck worked very hard this afternoon to put this together. We want to illustrate the subtle differences between a good curveball and a bad curveball, and it's not as much as you might think. We've overlaid a couple of Zach Godley deliveries, and you'll see right there at the point of release the slight difference in the arm angles. This is a good curveball, the lower arm angle. The higher arm angle, he pulls it way over there in the left-handed batter's box. And I mean, that difference is probably less than an inch in his arm angle, but you could see the difference it made in the pitch at home plate. Subtle differences to your mechanics. That's why we hear pitching coaches talk about repeatable mechanics. Same arm slot, same delivery, same release point over and over and over. That will allow you to more consistently put your pitches where you want to.
He's like that two-seam sinker away to righties an awful lot so far, in addition to that curveball. Just missed with one there to Ian Desmond to start off the inning, and Desmond drops one into left center. That one's off the wall. A leadoff double for Ian Desmond.
Desmond hiding down in that 7th spot of the lineup with 20 home runs, and gaps one here to left center field. You cannot sleep on this Rockies lineup top to bottom. Even the pitchers swing the bats pretty well.
So Desmond at second to start the inning. Rockies just 1 for 6 so far with runners in scoring position. Here's the catcher Tony Walters with the pitcher Marquez behind him. Godley coming off a nice quick 7-pitch 4th inning. Rockies very aggressive. All 4 batters in the last inning swung at the first pitch against Godley, and Desmond is dancing around back there as Colorado continues to try and upset Zach Godley.
And with a man in scoring position, generally you wouldn't bunt with your 8-hitter with the pitcher on deck, but you never know. I mean, the word is out on Zach Godley.
And of course, these guys might just take off at any moment. With Godley in the set position, that's belted into center. Desmond coming around. AJ's throw is offline, and we're tied at 1.
Pitch out over the plate, and Walters reaches out and hooks it back. He was just trying to move that runner from second to third base, but finds a hole up the middle. AJ's throw over Goldie. Fortunately, Tony Walters was working his way back to first base rather than making an aggressive turn around the bag. He should have been able to advance to second there.
So a single and a double start the Colorado 5th. The pitcher, German Marquez, a .288 batter this year with a homer. He can hit. Escobar still comes in from third on the grass. Squares to bunt, gets it down, back to the mound. Godley can't get it, no one can. It rolled right between Godley and Escobar. Well, that's the second time in the ball game we've had a bunt or a swing and bunt go back to the mound, and Godley couldn't field it.
That'll be ruled an infield hit for Marquez. Just bunts it hard back toward the mound, and because Godley falls off so drastically to the first base side, he's not able to recover in time. Escobar was charging hard from third. He's out of position and can't field it. Well, once again, these are the kind of little things that the Diamondbacks did not do in the first half of the season. Going to have to find a way to overcome it here in this inning.
Charlie Blackmon has singled and doubled. We mentioned how aggressive Colorado has been very early in counts. All this in this inning on just 4 pitches from Godley. A run is in, 2 on, still nobody out. You can see the shift on. Ahmed, the shortstop, right behind second base umpire Phil Cuzzy out there.
And normally you might anticipate a sac bunt from a leadoff hitter, but as we've talked about throughout the game, Charlie Blackmon's probably the hottest Rocky right now. They don't want to take the bat out of his hands.
Jams that cutter in there, and he's behind 2-0. This could get ugly in a hurry with LeMahieu and Arenado coming up next.
Well, this is unusual. Look, Ahmed making a trip to the mound.
Well, these D-back infielders, considering what Zach goes through out there with throwing to the bases and holding runners, they're on double alert out there. Everybody is ready to pounce on anything around the mound. The wind is kicking up a little bit here, blowing across from left to right, out toward right center. Good spot for the curveball. 2-1. Runners hold. Just missed with that sinker away. And it's 3 balls and a strike. LeMahieu on deck. And the bases are loaded with nobody out. First base on balls issued by Godley tonight.
And we're seeing Zach fall off a little more drastically to that first base side than he has in recent starts. He kind of corrected that issue and rarely was falling off the first base side, but really tumbling off today.
Mike Butcher, time to get out there. A run is in. Godley is yet to retire a batter in the 5th inning, and the bases are full. Mayhew has an infield single and a ground ball out. Here's a look. Coming off the rails a bit here. When Zach has been at his best recently, we've noted how he directs that energy toward home plate and is able to stay within himself, but he's coloring outside the lines a little bit here tonight.
There's such a fine line between releasing the ball and then spinning off to the first base side and doing it while you're releasing the ball. That's where the problem really enters for Zach. Occasionally he'll pull that ball over in the left-handed batter's box because he's falling off to that first base side at the point of release.
Well, he's in a big mess right here. Bases full, nobody out, and the batter is DJ LeMahieu. Walters at third, the pitcher Marquez at second, and Blackman at first. Missed with a curveball, 1-0. DJ LeMahieu has hit safely in each of his last 6 games. Silvino Bracho starts to get loose in the bullpen. Yanked the cutter. 2 balls and no strikes. Three-0. Arenado on deck. Colorado, which was uber aggressive just a few moments ago, has suddenly become very patient. And they've let Godley work himself into trouble, falling behind in these counts. Three-0 to LeMahieu. Squares the bunt, and he walked in a run. First 5 batters have reached in the Colorado 5th, and it's 2-1 Rockies. 6 straight balls for Zach Godley. And Torey Lovullo has seen enough.
Yeah, like the first part of the season where you have the luxury of letting a guy pitch himself out of jams. You just can't do that in the month of September when you're in a pennant race.
And Zach is prone to these big, ugly innings, and one has risen up and bitten him here in the 5th. Back after this. loaded without retiring a batter and gives way to Silvino Bracho. Don't forget, if you can't watch the Diamondback games on your TV, fans, you can stream them live on your mobile device. Use Fox Sports Go. It's brought to you locally by your Valley Honda dealers. Download the free app and take Fox Sports Arizona and your D-backs with you wherever you go. Well, Silvino Bracho inherits a big-time mess. Bases full of Rockies, still nobody out, and he gets to face 3, 4, and 5. Arenado, Dahl, and Story coming up. Arenado slumping right now, however. So far tonight he has struck out and popped up 0 for 2. Hitting only 156 in his previous 12 games. He did homer here yesterday against the Dodgers. Marquez, the pitchers at third, Blackman at second, and LeMahieu at first. Bracho up and down from AAA Reno 9 times this year. Had 8 saves with the Aces, so he's used to pitching in tight spots. That's belted over the head of Marquez at third. So far this year at the big league level, right-hand batters like Arenado hitting only 132 against Bracho. 5 for 38.
A strikeout would be great right here. Arenado's punched out 107 times this year, including back in the first inning.
One on the way. Arenado does have a grand slam this season, July 30th at St. Louis. 5 career slams. Reaches out and hits a tapper to second. They get one and can't turn it. Marquez scores and it's 3-1. Hit a little too slowly up the middle to get 2.
Not only that, but hit kind of in a weird spot. Daniel Descalso kind of caught in between whether to take it himself or flip it on to Nick. Nick's going to get more on that throw to first base if he takes the relay, but Nolan Arenado realizing if he busts it down that line and beats the relay, he gets an RBI.
Number 96 on the year for Arenado. Now the batter is David Dahl. Still only 1 out in the 5th. Rockies have already scored 3 times. Dahl singled his last time up against Godley. Well, Bracho did a tremendous job there against one of the best hitters in the business. Got a ground ball up the middle. Just couldn't get the result he wanted, and now he's got to get 2 more outs here. Blackman at third, Arenado at first. Three defenders on the right side. Fouled off the other way. First 5 batters in this inning reached safely. Desmond doubled. Walters singled him home for an RBI. The pitcher Marquez had a base hit, then walks to Blackman and LeMahieu. Rockies have now out-hit the D-backs 7-4. Lines it to Descalso, and everybody's back. Daniel saved a run right there, 2 outs.
Swing by David Dahl that time, squares it up and hits a line drive. Diamondbacks were playing a double play depth, which allowed Daniel Descalso to make that play. If he's playing in at the edge of the grass, it probably gets through into right center for an RBI base hit, but because the Diamondbacks were playing at double play depth, Daniel able to snare that line drive.
The batter is Story, who struck out twice against Zach Godley. Descalso will play almost behind the second base bag, so the whole right side of the infield is wide open right now. Goldie holding Arenado on the base at first. Fastball fouled away, 0-1. People talk about Silvino Bracho and you think, well, but he's been sent to the minors 9 different times. How good can he be? Well, he's one of the few guys back there with options. So when you need a roster spot, the guys with options are, in a sense, the ones that have to take it for the team.
Yeah, that's one of the best assets you can have as a ball club, is a number of players with options that you can move back and forth between AAA and the major leagues depending on need.
This is belted deep to right center field. AJ will watch it go. Trevor Story. That's number 32. And the Rockies have a 6-1 lead.
Center cut, 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Story knew he got enough of it to get it out of here, or at least a sac fly. Well, I'll tell you, when you're swinging the bats well as a team, runs seem to come easily. When you're struggling to swing the bats, it seems like pulling teeth every time to get a man on the plate.
9th man to bat, and the Rockies' 5th is Gerardo Parro for 2. .423 feet on the Story homer into the bullpen. This is a guy who had a 2-homer game and a 3-homer game against the Giants earlier on this homestand. Here's the Bracho changeup, up and away. It's 0-2. Now the Diamondbacks are going to have to come from 6-1 down against German Marquez, who has 8 strikeouts already and has struck out 6 of the last 7 batters he's faced. He's only given up 1 hit since the first inning. Broken bat, 1 hopper, backs up to Descalso. Rockies send 9 men to the plate in the 5th. They put up 6 and lead it 6-1.
top half of the 6th inning. The day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACS50 at papajohns.com.
A.J. Pollock leads off the 6th against German Marquez, who has struck out 5 batters in a row in 6 of the last 7. He has retired 13 of 14 since Goldie's single in the first. D-backs have 4 hits in the ball game, 3 of them in the first inning. A.J. tripled and scored to lead us off. Diamondbacks had a 1-0 lead, 2 batters into the ball game, but they now trail 6-1.
Partner, I think this tells you where the 2 teams are. The last 8 games plus tonight, Trevor Story has 6 homers and 14 runs driven in. The Diamondbacks as a team over the same stretch have 5 homers and 30 driven in.
There's no getting around the offensive issues. Just waiting for some of these guys to get hot, like A.J. Pollock, like Eduardo Escobar, like Steven Souza Jr. These guys are all proven hitters. You've got a guy who came from nowhere hitting 198 on May 22nd in Goldie, who is now leading the league in OPS and a legit MVP candidate. And just looking for that supporting cast, and Marquez has now struck out 6 consecutive Diamondbacks. Nine in the ball game. Here's Escobar, who singled twice, 2 for 2. That one might drop down, and it does. Eduardo Escobar, 3 for 3. And snaps a stretch of 8 straight set down by Marquez. Diamondbacks have 2 hits since the first inning, both of them Escobar singles. Here's Peralta. David has hit into a double play and struck out 0 for 2. There's that good Marquez curveball. That's always been a very good pitch for him, but this year he's added the slider like we talked about. Now it's 70 pitches in the ball game, 52 for strikes. He has struck out 9. He's not walked a batter. Mention how Marquez has been racking up the strikeouts lately. A Rockies record, 33 strikeouts in his last 3 starts. Ahead of Peralta, 0-2. That one gets through. David knocks it into left field. Back-to-back 1-out singles ahead of Goldie, and the Rockies throw it around. Escobar hustles into third. Sloppy baseball there by Colorado.
Boy, you could just feel that coming. We know Gerardo Parra very well from his time in Arizona. He loves to show off that arm. Escobar didn't even take a big turn around second base, and Parra tries to throw behind him. Boy, have we seen this a bunch.
That's an E7 that allows Escobar to get to third. Tries to fire a hard sinker in there for some reason.
They get hurt.
One swing, you can get right back in it, and it's Goldie the batter. He has singled and lined out to right, 1 for 2.
David Peralta at bat, the 9th 0-2 count in the ball game for Marquez.
That's fouled out of play. Goldie came into the game tonight hitting .522 at Coors Field this year. And before tonight, 6 previous games here, he doubled twice, tripled, and hit 5 home runs. So he has been a one-man wrecking crew in this ballpark this year. fastball, 97 down and in. And Marquez is ahead 0-2.
10th 0-2 count in the ball game.
He has been throwing strikes all night long. Now he's got him to set him up for the curveball, the slider, whatever he wants here. High chopper for Arenado, and that bad shoulder fires a strike. And they get Goldie as Escobar comes home with a second Diamondback run.
Another ball pounded off the plate. Arenado kind of jumps in the air to get to that ball a little bit quicker, and then right over the top with his throw to first base.
Well, that error by Parra results in a Diamondback run. So it's 6-2. Peralta's at second, 2 outs now for Daniel Descalso. Descalso has flied out, struck out 0-2. That slider in there for a strike, 0-1. Got another one down and away. And Andres. That was recently stretched out down at Visail. Going to give Torey Lovullo some length in that bullpen. Multiple innings. You don't want to blow out the bullpen in the first of 4 here in this ballpark. That's for sure. Right, another breaking ball. 1-2. Peralta down there at second, 2 outs. Well, it's amazing. Daniel Descalso almost never chases pitches like that. He always gives you that big league at bat. That's why he's in there so often in these key games. Souza on deck. He's not going to chase some crummy breaking ball down in the dirt with 2 strikes. Going to make you work. Long set of signs from Walters here. The 2-2. And again, checks. Ooh. Wow, CB missed a big one. That was a beautiful curveball right in there for strike 3. Instead, it's ball 3. Wow.
Wow is right. A lot of late movement back there by Tony Walters, and you could see the ball hit in the heel of his glove and then rolled all the way up through the glove to the webbing. Not sure if that swayed CB at all.
That's the anti-pitch framing moment right there. That's why that metric is so important. And Daniel fouls one off. Just nothing but breaking balls here from Marquez. Curveballs and sliders, that's it. Boy, Story at shortstop is right in Peralta's back pocket, trying to keep him close. See him sneak it in right there. Now he backs off. Here's the 3-2. We'll keep going. Finally a fastball.
Well, the fact that Story is playing right behind David Peralta up the middle of the field is going to shorten his lead a little bit. Thinking about a base hit to the outfield. Dahl in right, Parra in left, both with really good throwing arms. Charlie Blackmon average at best out in center.
The 8th pitch of the at-bat right here to Daniel Descalso. We were talking about the importance of a good secondary lead the other night when Nick Ahmed was thrown out at home. They'll keep going. One more fastball up and in. Well, it's a final in Cincinnati. The Reds have beaten the Dodgers 10-6. So LA, which was only a half game behind the Rockies division lead, has lost at Great American Ballpark. Dodgers won 2 of 3 here over the weekend. '20th pitch of the inning on the way. What an at bat by Daniel Descalso. Now you've got 2 on and 2 down for Souza. Here comes Bud Black. Marquez at 84 pitches. He's been throwing strikes all night long. That's his first base on balls.
This could be another one of those meetings where Bud Black is going to stay out there until C.B. Buckner comes out and then ask him directly, where did you have that curveball?
Well, we just saw Brian Snitker get thrown out in this exact fashion the other day at Chase Field. Here's the plate umpire. And there's Bud Black with a little conversation. And CB's just going to call the roll.
That could almost be construed as a second meeting at the mound. Buddy Black walked off the mound and then stopped and went back again when one of the Rockies players said something to C.B. Buckner.
All right, so no harm, no foul there apparently. And Souza will hit. He is grounded out and struck out. Well, Marquez was very efficient earlier. 11 pitches to the first 4 batters in the inning. And then a 9-pitch walk to Descalso. So a chance for Souza here. 1-0. Peralta at second, Descalso at first. Curveball fouled away. Steven trying to get it going here. He is 1 for 20 in September. Fastball at 96 and it's 1-2. Bullpen starts to get busy. Scott Oberg has been very good for Colorado lately, the right-hander. Marquez's spot is due up third in the bottom half of this inning. Missed with a curveball, 2-2. Nick Ahmed would be next. He has struck out twice so far against Marquez. 25th pitch of the inning on the way. And Souza strikes out. D-back strand 2, they get 1. It's 6-2 Colorado.
on the mound. 6-2 Rockies lead it. And I talked to Torey Lovello on the pregame show. The interview aired, and we talked about the bullpen. There'll be a change late in innings. Now the ball will not automatically go to Brad Boxberger in future save situations, guys. They're going to play the matchups. And what does that mean? Well, a lot of uncertainty. Our Archie Bradley, we know, is already going to be put in more lower leverage situations. Boxberger's still in the equation, but where? And then as for the ninth, I asked about Brad Ziegler and Yoshi Hirano, and Torey said those are good names, but he didn't use the word closer by committee. He just said they will play the matchups in the future when they have that lead late, guys.
All right, Jody, thank you. Double switch here for Torey Lovello to start the bottom of the 6th inning. Matt Andriese, the right-hander, comes on. And John Jay checks into right field, replacing Steven Souza Jr. So Jay will bat 9th, pitcher spot now 6th in the Diamondback order. And Ian Desmond leads off the Colorado 6th. Desmond has struck out. He's doubled and scored a run. And Andriese had a start not too long ago at Class A Visalia, where he went, I believe it was 3 2/3, got up somewhere between 40 and 50 pitches, so he can give Torey Lovello some length here, which is why you double switch in this situation, to give Matt a chance to work at least one full time through the order here, give you a couple of innings in relief, and save this bullpen. Two and two. Well, this is Coors Field, 4 runs. Never enough.
Nothing.
D-backs able to chip away in the top half of this inning, get one back. 2 and 2 on Desmond. And Andriese features that 92, 93-ish fastball on that cut changeup that he throws, which is an unusual pitch. Tony Walters, the catcher, on deck. A changeup that, instead of darting down and toward the right-hand batter, kind of darts down and away from the righty. Acts in that sense like a cut fastball. Off the plate, and Desmond has a leadoff walk. D-backs back in the fight for postseason. Sign up now for your chance to buy D-backs postseason tickets before they go on sale to the general public. Visit dbacks.com/postseason and sign up tonight. Here's Walters, who had an RBI single in that 6-run Colorado 5th.
Mentioned a 4-run deficit at Coors Field is really nothing. It's been said for years and years about this ballpark. As long as you have outs left in a game, you still have life.
Well, we've done a million of those games, right?
Yeah.
Think it's over, and suddenly the horse is out of the barn. That's fouled away.
Of course, it's going to take better at bats than we've seen so far from the D-backs offense against Airman Marquez.
Well, his spot is due up next, and he is out there in the on-deck circle. Scott Oberg had been warming up in the Rocky bullpen, but it's quiet down there right now. Marquez with 10 strikeouts. It's a guy who had 33 strikeouts in his previous 3 starts, so he is on a big-time roll. right now at 89 pitches in the ball game. Mentioned how deep he's been going into games lately. That's really not that big a deal for Marquez at this point. Far more often than not as of late, pitching into the 7th inning, and it looks like he'll do that again tonight.
Other than that last inning he pitched, he'd been extremely efficient in this ball game. A lot of 0-2 counts, jumping ahead of the Diamondbacks hitters, putting them immediately on the defensive, and then they've been chasing a lot of bad breaking balls.
At one point, Marquez had 6 consecutive strikeouts. Desmond takes off, pitch out, and the throw is in time. They got him.
Oh, I can't remember the last time the Diamondbacks pitched out, but it pays off right here. Somebody guessed right. Nice tag by Nick Ahmed down there at short. Got that ball and slapped it down quickly in front of the base. Catches Desmond on the shoulders. He goes sliding past. Occasionally you'll pick something up from the bench, from Bud Black himself, flashing signs down to Stu Cole at third. Other times you might pick something up from the third base coach, giving the signs to the base runner and the hitter. More often than not, the runner tips it off. They do something different with their leadoff. They get in a little bit more of a crouch. They position their hands just a little bit differently. See him leaning out on that right foot, trying to get in motion before the pitch is even thrown.
Remember in the game yesterday, Avila threw a perfect strike to third to get Ronald Acuna trying to steal a base, and now he throws out Desmond here tonight. 2-2 on Tony Walters. The pitcher Marquez on deck. That's a base hit into left. Walters 2 for 3. That's a guy hitting a .172 coming in. Here's the pitcher. Marquez singled and scored in that 6-run Rocky fifth. So it looks like he's coming back into the 7th at 89 pitches. His season high is 114, so he's still got some gas left in the tank. Here comes Escobar from third now. Takes a strike on 1. Boy, the Rockies have something with this youngster at just 23. He's really come a long way. His breaking balls look a lot better. Command has been excellent. Escobar still in on the grass. Here he comes from third. Marquez fouls off the bunt attempt, and it's 0-2. Oftentimes that cut change from Andriese can act like a slider if he throws it hard enough. Kind of looked like one right there. Bunts with 2 strikes, pops it up, and Goldie lets it fall. And they're both out. Field and Culbreth signals out and out. A heads-up play by America's first baseman, and Marquez bunts into a double play. We'll head to the 7th at 6-2 Colorado.
was the runner on first base. Marquez pops up the bunt, and Goldie wisely lets it fall. Now, right there, Tony Walters just needs to stay on the base, because once Daniel Descalso catches this ball and steps on first, there is no longer a reason for Walters to go to second. He can stay at first base. That base is now unoccupied. He can stay right there.
Well, you saw Bud Black gesturing that Descalso had pushed him off the bag, but Fielden Culbreth wasn't buying that.
Maybe a little bit of physical contact there. I don't think it was enough to fool Fielden Culbreth at first base, but he might have helped him come off the bag just a tad.
Boy, the little things. Goldie makes a difference once again. Ahmed will start it off here in the 7th. He struck out twice so far against Marquez, who was back out there. 89 pitches, 65 for strikes. Nick trying to bunt his way on, and that one rolls foul. Nice play by Arenado, but C.B. Bucknor, who has that call until it gets to the base, says foul ball.
Yeah, that can't feel good if you've got a sore right throwing shoulder. That ball just trickles into foul territory right there, which turns this throw into an unnecessary throw, but Arenado couldn't take the chance. He hadn't heard the call yet, so he fires across the diamond there, but ruled a foul ball.
Now 90 pitches for Marquez, who has now put up 3 consecutive double-digit strikeout games. 13 Padres, 11 Giants last week, and so far tonight 10 Diamondbacks. And he's got Ahmed 0-2. Bullpen is quiet for Colorado. So Marquez tonight pitching into the 7th for the 8th time in his last 13 starts. He's really been a top of the rotation guy for Bud Black. This one does stay fair. Arenado has to make another throw, and he does it perfectly.
You know, it's hard to criticize anything Nolan Arenado does defensively, because he is the cream of the crop down there at third base, but he makes a lot of throws like that that are somewhat unnecessary. He could have planted his feet, got up on top, thrown across the diamond, but he likes to throw on the move, and that puts a little more strain on that right shoulder.
As hard as he throws the ball and as often and as much as he practices those types of throws, you have to think there'd be some wear and tear in there eventually. Avila has struck out twice, 0 for 2. Shift is on. See how far back on that outfield grass LeMahieu is at second. Two. 13 0-2 counts tonight for German Marquez. He's been ahead 0-2 13 times. Breaking ball missed badly. 1-2 on Avila. John Jay on deck. Marquez in his last 12 starts, 6-1 with a 2.55 ERA. The Rockies in his last 12 starts are 9-3. Just missed a little low with that curveball. 2-2. Pretty good pitch right there. Got him. 11 strikeouts for Marquez. Fans follow the race to the postseason on MLB.tv. For only $25.99, you can watch every out-of-market regular season game and get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions do apply, so visit MLB.tv and take advantage of this limited time offer.
Two down for Jay, who bats for the first time tonight. Double switched into the ball game in right field. 275, 3 homers. Belts that one right at Story, a one-hopper. And Herman Marquez is through 7. D-backs trail it 6-2.
Run, Rockies' 5th, highlighted by a 3-run home run from Trevor Story after Silvino Bracho had replaced Zach Godley. Eduardo Escobar 3 for 3 with 3 singles. D-backs are down 4. And Herman Marquez has been tremendous for Bud Black. 11 strikeouts, only 1 walk. And it looks like he may be done as Charlie Blackmon leads off the bottom of the 7th. Matt Andres back out there for his 2nd inning of work. Blackmon has singled, doubled, walked, and scored a run tonight. He's 2 for 2. He's already got 3 3-hit games this month, and Marquez once again delivers a big-time start for the Rockies.
We've been talking recently about the National League West and some of the great young talent we're seeing in San Diego and San Francisco and LA. Well, the Rockies got a few guys that we're going to be looking at for a long time as well.
That's a very young rotation. Adam Ottavino, who's been tremendous in their bullpen as of late, starts to warm up. They've got Senzatella going tomorrow, and then John Gray, their opening day guy, Wednesday night, followed by Kyle Freeland, who's pitched an outstanding season for them, the lefty. He'll start Thursday afternoon. Freeland is 14-7 with an ERA under 3. So this young Rocky rotation is really starting to come together here. This ball club has played very well, 40-22 since June 28th when they were 8 games back. This is the latest the Rockies have been alone atop the division since 1995. They have never in their 25-year history won a division title. But Bud Black has them out front here on September 10th. Dodgers have already lost. They lost at Cincinnati today. The Reds beat them 10-6. Blackmon bangs it into left. Well, it's only September 10th, and Charlie Blackmon already has 4 3-hit games this month. And with that Dodger loss for the moment, it's a 1-game lead atop the division for the Rockies.
Another game with playoff implications. The Brewers lead the Cubs 3-2 in the 9th inning. If Milwaukee hangs on and wins that ball game, they'd only be 1 game behind the Cubs in the Central.
How about that? D-backs looking at both the Brewers and the Cardinals in terms of the wild card. Diamondbacks right now 2.5 back in the division, 3 behind a wild card spot, currently held by Milwaukee and St. Louis. DJ LeMahieu has singled. He's drawn a bases loaded walk. That was the last batter Zach Godley faced in that 6-run Rockies 5th. Arenado followed with a RBI ground ball, and then Story had a 3-run homer. It's a tough stretch for Colorado that had a long homestand here. It started with the Giants, then the Dodgers were here over the weekend. Diamondbacks in for 4, and following this, they hit the road right through the rest of the NL West. They have 3 at San Francisco, 3 at Dodger Stadium, and then 3 at Chase Field against the Diamondbacks before they come home and finish up against the Phillies and the Nationals. So the Rockies are still vulnerable right here. A lot of games against the division. This is out to right center. Jay cuts it off. Blackman digging for third. He'll stop there. LeMahieu has a double.
LeMahieu used to be just a dead opposite field hitter. We had some fun with it last year when Dave McKay suggested that they play an opposite field shift on DJ LeMahieu, and it appeared to get between his ears a little bit against the Diamondbacks, but has started to pull the ball a lot more this year, so teams playing pretty much straight up in the outfield.
Now they will give Arenado the free pass with first base open and work to David Dahl with the bases full and no outs. Dahl singled in the 4th. He's 1 for 3. At this point, it's pick your poison, and there's no sense pitching to Nolan Arenado if you don't have to, no matter how badly his shoulder hurts. Bases full of Rockies, no outs. D-backs have 3 infielders on the first base side. Colorado has now out-hit the D-backs 11-6. Blackman at third, LeMahieu at second, Arenado at first. You see the 3 infielders there on the right-hand side. Fastball is low. Andriese behind 2-0. Good fastball right by him. He got his 2-0 fastball and missed it. Oberg is warming up once again in the Rocky bullpen. He's joined Ottavino down there. Yanked a fastball, and it's 3-1. Story, who homered his last time up, is on deck. A long home run into the Diamondback bullpen. Bullpen is ready. Oberg on the left, Ottavino on the right. They've both been very good lately for Bud Black. Rockies bullpen has solidified somewhat. 3-1 to David Dahl. Foul tip. Avila hangs on. It's full.
Dahl with a 2-0 count, followed by a 3-1 count, and both times swings right through a hittable fastball in the zone.
Here it is. That's drilled and gone, a grand slam. It's 10-2 Colorado.
Well, he might have missed the 2-0 fastball and the 3-1 fastball, but he did not miss the full count fastball. Down and in, right where lefties usually like it. And Dahl golfs it out of here for a grand slam. Ouch.
.415 feet over the head of Jay and right. Still nobody out in the seventh. A 6-run fifth. Now 4 runs here. And here's Story, who hit a 3-run home run in that 5th inning. His 32nd of the year. First career grand slam for David Dahl and a 3-2 pitch from Matt Andriese.
Well, not only Paul Goldschmidt's birthday today, but Joey Votto celebrating a birthday. Roger Maris.
It's a remarkable day for Major League Baseball birthdays.
Ted Kluszewski. Randy Johnson celebrating a birthday today. Got his 3,000th strikeout on his birthday.
That's amazing. That's cool. It's amazing that RJ and Goldie have the same birthday.
And of course, High Pockets Kelly celebrating a birthday today, Hall of Famer.
Lest we forget. Here's John Jay for the first out here in the 7th.
Got any letters over there, partner?
No, we got so many of them in last time. I figured we'd give the folks a chance to write some more in. We had a whole bunch. There's a whole stack waiting for us when we get home. And if you wrote us a letter, thank you. I promise we'll get to everyone. And we've had a tremendous response.
Well, I know one person that's watching tonight back on the East Coast. Red Sox have a night off tonight, so Michael Brindley's snuggled up watching the game tonight.
Let's hope he still is. Yeah, Chris Russin, the left-hander who has struggled lately for Colorado, has started to warm up as both Oberg and Ottavino, now with an 8-run lead, will sit down. And trying to get Russin fixed. 1-0 on Gerardo Parra, who's 0 for 3. Red Sox had a tough weekend against the Astros before they got the walk-off Sunday.
Yeah.
There's Dahl, who got the start instead of Cargo in right field. 2 for 4 with a single and a grand slam. 2-0 to Parra. He punches that toward left. Here comes Peralta. They'll have to play it on a bounce. And this is the largest outfield in baseball. It's 2.6 acres worth of outfield. And we always talk about the elevation, the altitude, the whole thing, how the ball flies here. But so many balls drop in front of these outfielders. That makes it as dangerous, too. I mean, look at all the ground you have to cover out there.
You have to play deep to try to take away those gaps and those long fly balls the way the ball carries here. And as you said, more often than not, the little doinks that fall in front hurt just as bad.
I mean, that's a routine fly ball in a lot of ballparks. Not here, though. Here's Desmond, who has doubled, walked, and scored a run. That's belted into center. Desmond aboard for the third time tonight. Brings up Walters, who has singled in his last 2 at-bats.
Boy, the way this inning has gone, it looks like Matt Andriese is just going to have to wear it tonight. You mentioned a 4-game series at Coors Field. You don't want to burn up your entire bullpen the first game of the series, and trailing by 8 runs, it looks like Matt Andriese is going to be the guy for the time being.
He's going to have to wear it for a bit here. Rockies now with 10 runs on 14 hits. Looks like Ryan McMahon is coming in the on-deck circle. He will hit for the pitcher Marquez. And that one is through into center. They'll wave Parra home. Make it 11-2.
Walters, as you had mentioned, been really struggling coming into this ball game, but that's his 3rd consecutive hit. A couple of RBIs.
Well, the 9th batter in this inning, still only 1 out, will be McMahon hitting for Marquez. Ryan McMahon, left-hand batter, 232 and 5 homers. Vila will go join Mike Butcher. Well, 2 headlines if you're a Rockies fan: the offense, the big innings, and the start by Germán Marquez, whose night will end here. He was just outstanding. Jimmy Sherfy, great dude, starts warming up in the bullpen. And CB will go out and break up the town meeting here. Don't forget Cardinals HQ Wednesday 10:30 on Fox Sports Arizona. Disappointing start for the Redbirds against the Redskins, but they can bounce back. So McMahon is hitting for the pitcher. 2 on, 1 out, and 5 runs already in. McMahon has homered twice as a pinch hitter this year. So Germán Marquez goes 7. Gives up 2 runs, 6 hits. He walked 1. He struck out 11. He had 13 0-2 counts tonight. 13. His 3rd consecutive double-digit strikeout game. So for Marquez, that makes 44 strikeouts in his last 4 starts.
Tonight he faced 27 Diamondbacks hitters. 13 of them had 0-2 counts. Almost half the batters he faced in this game were in an 0-2 hole.
He has looked better and better down the stretch. This will make him, if they hang on, 7-1 in his last 13 starts with an ERA under 2.5. So they've been looking for number 1, and he has been it when they really needed it. This will be Colorado's 10th victory in Marquez's last 13 starts. Two and 1 on Ryan McMahon. McMahon's been a bit of a problem this year. He's already homered 3 times against the Diamondbacks this season. He's only got 5 home runs all year. There's a little nubber that stays fair. Escobar charges, pulls Goldie off the bag, and the bases are loaded again. That's a base hit for McMahon.
And Colorado will bat around here in the 7th.
That's always a tough break with 2 strikes when a batter just smothers one at home plate, hits a little topper to the third base side because Escobar had just backed up into a better defensive position, had to come streaking in to try to make that play, and McMahon able to beat it out for an infield hit. I think we're going to have Alex Avila possibly pitch. Not sure. Torrey's carrying some equipment out there to home plate with him.
Charlie Blackmon is the hitter with the bases full. Avila going back into the dugout now to ditch the catcher's gear.
Well, I'm not sure that's exactly what's going on. I just saw Torrey carrying a catcher's mitt when he walked out there to home plate.
We saw Avila pitch earlier this year. And actually, if memory serves, he did pretty well. So that's it for Matt Andriese as they bat around against Andriese. And Jimmy Sherfy is on his way in. Back after this. Loaded 1-out mess. He gets to face Charlie Blackmon as Colorado bats around here in the 7th inning. It's a whole new battery as the veteran catcher Chris Stewart makes his D-backs debut. Acquired from Atlanta August 30th for cash. He had not appeared in a big league game for Atlanta since April 3rd, but he's in there tonight. Long time, very solid backup catcher in a long major league career. D-backs with 4 catchers on the roster now. So here's Blackmon. Blackmon has singled, doubled, walked and scored, singled and scored. He's 3 for 3. And he belts that to center. AJ gets over there. Here comes Parra, or Desmond, pardon me, and he will score 12-2. Here's LeMahieu now. LeMahieu has singled, doubled, walked. He's got an RBI. He scored a run. And for the second time in the ball game, the Rockies have put up 6 runs in 1 inning. A 6-run 5th and a 6-run 7th.
I was kind of wondering if we were going to see anybody get loosened up in the batter's box. These Rockies have just been running up there to the plate, taking their hacks. Got to make them uncomfortable.
Oh, that'll do it. There's another one up and in. th man to bat here in the Colorado 7, DJ LeMahieu. This is low and it's 3-0. Arenado is on deck. He was intentionally walked earlier in this inning. That's belted into center. Walters comes home with the 13th Colorado run. Arenado, his second plate appearance in the inning. Sliders a strike, 0-1. Arenado does not have a hit tonight. He has scored twice and knocked in a run. Sherfy ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Dahl, who hit the grand slam earlier in this inning, is on deck. And if Arenado reaches, Dahl would have a chance to hit 2 grand slams in the same inning. That's in the seats and out of play.
We don't even want him to have that opportunity. Get this out right here. You've got Arenado in an 0-2 hole.
Yes, he went, says Fielden Culberth, and the inning ends. The Rockies put up 7. They lead it 13-2.
nearly enough. Let's take a look at that last at bat by Nolan Arenado. Jimmy Sherfy starts him off with a slider for a called strike. A couple of foul balls on heaters, and then gets a check swing on another slider that kind of backed up on the inside part of the plate, but they get the call from Field and Colbert down there at first base. Our Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game.
Well, Colorado with a 6-run fifth and a 7-run seventh. And to start the eighth, the new pitcher is Chris Russin. A couple of defensive changes behind him. Ryan McMahon remains in the game after his grand slam, takes over at third for Nolan Arenado. There you see the numbers on Russin, who has struggled mightily this year. And Raimel Tapia replaces Charlie Blackmon in center field. Socrates Brito will bat for Pollock to lead off the eighth. As both skippers emptying the benches now in a 13-2 ball game. So here's Socrates, 11 games this year, 2 for 19. He'll start us off in the eighth.
The 8th time this season the Rockies have scored 6 or more runs in an inning. The first time they've done it twice in the same game. 4 of the 8 times that they put a 6 spot or more on the board have been against the D-backs.
Ouch. And Brito drops one fair down the line. Socrates digging for second. Strong throw by Parra. And he is thrown out at second in a 13-2 ball game. Well, Parra, as we mentioned, has got that big arm. Diamondback fans know that. Likes to show it off. And this one was not close.
Where are you going? Need about 15 base runners to get back into this ball game, and you run into an easy out at second base. Yeah, we know all about Parra, and I'm sure the Diamondbacks are well aware of his throwing arm and his willingness to throw anywhere at any time.
Chris Owings hitting for Escobar. Hits the first pitch to Story, quickly 2 outs. And now we're going to get a look at Ildemaro Vargas, who will bat for David Peralta. Christian Walker is in the on-deck circle. He would hit for Goldie. So Vargas hits for Peralta. His numbers at AAA Reno, 311 and 7 homers.
D-backs home run tonight means a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow at participating Jack in the Box locations with the purchase of a large drink. That sounds pretty good right about now, a large drink.
What do you got in mind?
Oh boy.
Vargas, just his 4th plate appearance this year for the Diamondbacks. Make it a double, will you? 0-2.
I mean, you know, you're trailing by 11 runs in a ball game, but you get the first batter of the inning thrown out at second base.
Look out. That bat is somehow through the screen and on top of the dugout. There's the strikeout. Bottom 8 coming up. A big night for Eduardo tonight. 3 base hits, his first multi-hit game since August 18th. He is the author of our Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing Cool Plays of the Game. 3 singles. He had an RBI, scored a run. 3 for 4. Wholesale changes here. We've got Patrick Kivlahan replacing David Peralta in left. John Jay moves over to center after Pollock was hit for. And Socrates Brito takes over in right. Ildemaro Vargas replaces Descalso at second. Chris Owings replaces Escobar at third, and Christian Walker is the new first baseman in for Goldie. So CB Bucknor straightening all that out as David Dahl leads off the inning for Colorado.
Feels more and more like a game at Salt River Fields every minute.
Sure does. They all come in at once. Well, Dahl singled in the 4th, had a grand slam in the 7th. Jimmy Sherfy back out there. Colorado 13 runs, 17 hits. D-backs 2 runs, 7 hits. Rockies had all kinds of offense and a tremendous pitching performance from Germán Marquez, who struck out 11 in 7 innings. Look out, Jimmy. It hit him in the foot. He recovers nicely. Let's make sure he's okay.
Ball hit right back at him. It sounded like it, yeah, hit him in the back of the right foot. Fortunately, dropped right down to the grass there on the first base side of the mound, and Jimmy's able to recover in time to get Dahl at first base.
And now Garrett Hampson will hit for Trevor Story. As they get the out at first to start the inning. Here's Hampson, the rookie, 273 in just 11 games for Colorado. 3rd round pick in the draft 2 years ago out of Cal State Long Beach. He's a Reno native. Breaking ball's a strike. Fastball misses up, 1-2. Yohan Lopez, who had a rough major league debut yesterday against Atlanta, trying to put that aside. Faced 3 batters, gave up 2 homers and a triple. Swing and a miss on that breaking ball, and Sherfy gets the strikeout.
Good downer slider that time. Not a lot of lateral movement on that Jimmy Sherfy slider. It's mostly straight down.
Well, Torey Lovullo is going to give Lopez a chance to get the final out of the ball game here against the Rockies with 2 outs in the home half of the 8th and let Lopez erase yesterday. We'll take a break, back in a moment. his first out in the major leagues. He made his big league debut yesterday against Atlanta. The first batter he faced in the majors was Lucas Duda, who launched a long home run. And Ronald Acuna Jr. followed with a triple. And then Johan Camargo belted another long home run. And that was it for Lopez. 3 batters, 2 homers, and a triple. Trying to put that behind him against Gerardo Parra.
Get an out right here, and you'd have an ERA that isn't infinity.
The dreaded INF ERA. That's where we sit right now with Lopez, who had a tremendous season at AA Jackson this year. Pitch for the World team in the Futures game over All-Star Weekend. There's a fastball. He's got a good one, 97. 0-1. Lopez, a Cuban signee by the former D-back front office. Had a lot of off-the-field problems when he began his professional career. And he's still looking for that first big league out. He gets it as Vargas recovers. Will head the ninth. 13-2 Colorado.
Trail the Rockies 13-2. It's always good to have goals. Anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Well, we still got a shot at tacos.
They'd be sad tacos, but we'll take them anyway.
New pitcher for the Rockies, the left-hander Sam Howard, just recalled from AAA Albuquerque last week. He has made exactly 1 career appearance in the major leagues, and that was against the Diamondbacks, coincidentally, not ironically. Worked the 9th inning back on June the 10th. And we'll get a look at Christian Walker, who was in for Goldie, and then Patrick Kivlahan will have his first at-bat as a Diamondback after that. He took over in left field for David Peralta. Changes defensively. Drew Butera replaces Desmond at first for Bud Black. Garrett Hampson takes over at second for LeMahieu. Pat Valleca, the new shortstop, in for Trevor Story. So here's Christian Walker. 219, 2 homers. He'll lead it off in the Diamondback 9th, trailing 13-2. D-backs 2 runs, 7 hits. Oh, 2.
That's fair down the line. McMahon with a terrific stop. Oh, good night for Ryan McMahon. A grand slam and a defensive gem at third.
Well, that's robbery right there. That should have been extra bases down into the left field corner. That ball was hit hard with some topspin. McMahon dives into foul territory and then unleashes a throw across the diamond in time to get Christian Walker. What a nice play.
Here's the first D-back at bat for Patrick Kivlahan, acquired from the Mets last week. Right hand bat off the bench, breaking balls a strike. His first at bat in the major leagues this year. Played most of this season with the Mets AAA team in Las Vegas, where he hit .314 and belted 20 homers. He's got some power. He can run pretty well too. Was an excellent football player in college at Rutgers. That's belted into left center for a base hit for Kivlahan. And the batter will be Chris Stewart. His first at bat as a Diamondback. Acquired from the Braves at the end of August. He spent most of this year with Atlanta's AAA team. Had .219 there, just under 50 games. Ahmed will be the on-deck hitter. Then it's the pitcher's spot.
Looks like John Ryan Murphy with a helmet and a bat down there on the top step of the dugout would probably hit for the pitcher's spot.
Chris Stewart. There's John Ryan. Stewart, the fourth catcher on the active roster for Torey Lovullo. Parts of a dozen seasons in the big leagues. Very well regarded backup catcher. Played mostly with the Yankees and the Pirates. Fly ball to left for Parra. Two outs in the ninth. Jody Jackson standing by. Diamondbacks live post-game show follows our ball game. It'll be another tough one for Torey Lovullo. He's had more than a few of those lately. His ball club on the road, very hostile environment, starting their biggest series of the season to this point, and they're down 13-2. Zach Greinke goes tomorrow, so there's that on the horizon. Fly ball to center. Toppy is out there. And the first of four in Colorado is a 13-2 Rockies win. A tough night for the Diamondbacks, who have now lost 12 of their last 17 games. And they drop 3.5 back of Colorado's NL West lead. We'll take a break. Back with much more from Coors Field after this. D-backs drop this one 13-2.